My name is Beth Noel, and I am the chair of the Lowell Cultural Council. I've lived in Lowell for the last 18 years, and I was born and raised in the Merrimack Valley. The Lowell Cultural Council is part of the Mass Cultural Council's Local Cultural Council program. Mass Cultural Council is the organization at the state that takes state and federal funding and distributes it to towns and cities throughout the Commonwealth for the purpose of supporting cultural and artistic programming. Lowell is very lucky to have this partnership with the Mass Cultural Council, and we are able to allocate lots of great free funding every year to programming that happens here in the city. As part of the Lowell Cultural Council, we focus on programs that enrich the cultural story of the city of Lowell, programs that embrace diversity and equity, and programs that really highlight the strength of the arts in the city. After all, it is in the city's motto, and the Lowell Cultural Council does take that seriously, and we're thrilled to be able to award funds every single year. Last year, we awarded over $128,000 in funding, and we are on target to be able to award the same amount in this upcoming cycle. Lowell is known throughout the state and honestly throughout the country for being a place where culture thrives and where arts thrive. And some of that, of course, is in thanks to our very own Peter Osella, who was instrumental in bringing the folk festival to life. Lowell is known for that. And really what the Lowell Cultural Council likes to be able to do is to continue that feeling and that momentum around culture and the arts programming when it's not the folk festival. So what else can we support throughout the rest of the year that still makes Lowell an important place for people to come and visit? We believe that by having cultural programs and artistic events in the city, that we are helping to contribute to the local economy, and we're also making it a more richer and inclusive place to live. I've been part of the Lowell Cultural Council for the last 3 years, and each year we have awarded over 25 unique individuals or organizations with grant funding. These awardees vary in range from individual artists who are doing specific work that they want to share with the community to helping support larger events. So recently, one of the programs that we helped fund was the Kinetic Sculpture Race. That is a fantastic event that brings in thousands of people to the city every year on that weekend to do some really kooky, creative, unique things. And it has become well known in the sculpture race community for a great place to come. We also have a dance instructor who does special programming around dance and movement for people with Parkinson's. We have given funds to art education programs for middle and high school age students. We have supported the litter crew and their environmental pickup days with the music in the park that happens after the litter crew goes in and cleans. There's a little celebration. So we really fund a wide range of organizations and people throughout the city. Each of the local cultural councils that is given the opportunity to award money from the Mass Cultural Council is allowed to pick a set of priorities each cycle year. This year, the Lowell Cultural Council is focusing on 3 areas that we're really hoping to see some really great applications from. And these are 3 areas that we determined through polling at the Lowell Folk Festival. So we were present both days of the festival, asked for attendees to participate, to cast their vote for what type of programming they want us to support. So this year we're really looking to see some great applications around DIY events. So creating your own something, whether that's stained glass or how to learn how to draw or using a 3D printer or a DIY workshop, that was an area that the local community told us they were really interested in seeing more programming around. Also, youth and children's programming is another area. And then for the first time in a few years, our survey results showed us that folks are really interested in music and music performance. So we will gladly accept grants for any art and cultural programming. It does not have to be limited to those three, but based on community input, those are the three that will get a little extra consideration from the council during the deliberation process. Applying for a Lowell Cultural Council grant is fairly easy. You use the Mass Cultural Council website and you complete an online form. The whole process is handled online. The council then meets in November to deliberate and review all of the applications. Applications are reviewed under the scrutiny of a few different areas. So in addition to the priorities that I had mentioned, we're also looking to see the quality of the project being proposed. We also want to know what the community benefit is. Who is the event or the program targeted to? Who will benefit from participating? We also look at budget and other available funds. Are you relying solely on the Cultural Council to fund this program, or are you getting additional support from other community members or organizations? And then we also look at the leadership that is behind the project. We want to make sure that that there are local experts and instructors and people that are really invested in the program that will be running the program, so that we know that it is being given the most amount of attention and love and care as possible for that particular event to be successful. When applying for a grant, there are a few really simple rules. One is the program or event needs to take place in the city of Lowell. So the Lowell Cultural Council cannot fund an event that is happening in a neighboring community. So that's number one. We also want to make sure that you are getting permission from the venues that you might be holding your program at. A lot of our applicants are individual artists or nonprofit groups that don't have their own physical location, and they're using a venue in the city. So they're either using one of the college campuses, the library, even LTC maybe for their event. And so when you're applying, please submit with your application a letter from that venue saying that, yes, you have permission to use that space. We definitely need that in order to be able to provide an award for an application. The awards that the Lowell Cultural Council is able to give out typically range between $500 and $10,000. So when you're applying for a grant, it's important for us to know if you have other sources of funding available to help support this program. Perhaps you're throwing in some money from your own nonprofit accounts, or you're getting another community organization to support or sponsor the event. That's really helpful for us to know. We also need to have a good understanding of how you plan on marketing your event. Certainly a $500 or a $2,000 award isn't usually enough to fund the program and the marketing. So we want to make sure that you are successful and want you to put some thought into how are you going to promote and market this event to the community, because we want as many people as possible to be involved so that you have a really successful event. The Lowell Cultural Council works with Mass Cultural Council on a reimbursement grant. The reimbursement grant process is one where the artist or the person who's received the grant then keeps receipts, documents how they've spent the funds. They submit those to our office, and we can then have a check issued for reimbursement from the City of Lowell. When a grant recipient is ready, they've either completed part or all of their program. They can then submit receipts to us. That's all we really need. We just need the receipts documenting what was spent, when it was spent. There is a form to fill out that is available on the Mass Cultural Council site, and that comes to our office, and we're able to approve it and then have that processed for reimbursement. There are some things we cannot reimburse for that we typically see pop up, and that is food alcohol, and water. So those are areas that we cannot fund, and we have actually made our guidelines easier to understand around what we can and can't cover this year. So hopefully that is clearer for applicants as they move forward. People that are interested in learning more about the Lowell Cultural Council or about applying for a grant can visit the Lowell City website. There is information there, but you can also go directly to massculturalcouncil.org. Mass Cultural Council has a very comprehensive site that is full of really useful information, including how to apply for the Lowell grants. In addition to applying for a local cultural council grant, there's all kinds of other money that the Mass Cultural Council has as well. So the Lowell Cultural Council just gives out a small portion of the Mass Cultural Council's amount of funds, but they're doing a lot of great work and have a lot of other opportunities that our community can take advantage of. One of the interesting projects that the Mass Cultural Council is currently working on is increasing accessibility to cultural programming for people with disabilities, which is really fantastic. And I can say with pride that the Lowell Cultural Council has been thinking about this already. So we actually have in place a program with us where if you need an audio interpreter or someone to do sign language during an event that we are helping sponsor, we have the availability to provide you with that. So think of anything creative that you can, any sort of programming that will enhance the vitality and the community of this city. As long as it's cultural or artistic in some way, we would love to see those applications because we really do want to grow the breadth and width of all of the programming that is offered to our community. Right now we are 6 members. We can certainly accommodate more. And each member term is about 3 years. So there's definitely the opportunity for us to grow. Right now, my goal as chair of the Cultural Council is to really grow diversity and representation on the council. I want to make sure that there are representatives from all neighborhoods and pockets of our community that are involved with this organization. You don't need any qualifications. All you need to do is live in the city of Lowell and love the arts and love the city. If that is you, then please, we would welcome you to come to one of our meetings. Our meetings are open to the public. Sit in, see if you think that this would be a group that you'd want to join, and then you simply send a letter of intent and your resume to Lowell City Hall. And it's really that easy to become involved with the Cultural Council. And again, we would love to see the council member number increase.